Bill Gates just invested almost $100 million on a stock that I don't even know why he's doing it, but he did. And you have to think, was the downfall of Bud Light all in the plans as Bill Gates just bought up $95 million worth of shares in Anheuser-Busch?
Is Bill Gates making a mistake? What do you think?
I think Bill Gates is definitely making a mistake. And earlier this year, he already made a $900 million mistake when he invested into one of Anheuser-Busch's largest rivals, Heineken. He did that earlier this year. And since that investment, Heineken's down about 10%, whereas the broader markets are up 10%. So if I was looking for advice on investing into software companies, tech companies, I might go to Bill Gates. But if you're looking at the beer industry, he doesn't have a great track record of investing in winners at this point. And I think that for the company's sake, they'd probably be better off if maybe somebody who was more kind of the everyman type of person, maybe like a Rob Gronkowski or somebody like that, was investing into Anheuser-Busch, not necessarily somebody like Bill Gates that doesn't really resonate with sort of that common man, that everyday Bud Light beer drinker.
Are you kidding me? Now, the first thing that I think when I drink a nice cold beer is Bill Gates. Now, of course I'm kidding. I don't even like the taste or smell of beer. But the question is, why? Why is he investing in it? Not enough farmland? But it's simple, really. He wants to invest and buy these shares for pennies on the dollar. It's obvious. It might also help knowing that Bill Gates is not a fan of beer at all. He said it himself. Although he can wait as long as he wants on these investments. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that there's that much of a motivation for him to make his money back fast because, again, he's a freaking billionaire. Now, speaking of motivation, though, the ADP Research Institute just released a new report that shows that workers in our country aren't as motivated as before. Now, tell me something I didn't know, right? Now, before I even get into the story, make sure you guys smash the like button for the video. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to the channel. That way you're always updated with future videos, all right? I appreciate the support, you guys. So yeah, worker motivation. It's called the Employee Motivation and Commitment Index, and well, it looks like this. Now, they said that there's no clear indication as why workers aren't quite as motivated as before, but this is obviously going to impact productivity as the index fell to its lowest number since June of last year. Now, I can make a couple of assumptions here. How about low pay, low wages, pay not keeping up with inflation, bad, sucky managers and bosses, bad colleagues, being stuck around people you hate? I guess it's impossible to know exactly what it really is, but just so you know, workers in transportation and warehousing, education, and healthcare industries, they are the least motivated workers in the country right now. Markets that have been hit hard by the health crisis. Now, one of the biggest factors is that the dollar just isn't quite worth as much these days as it used to be, thanks to inflation and a number of other factors. Peter Schiff, an economist that you may either like or not like, he made a good guess of points regarding our economy in a recent interview.
I think the most significant admission that Powell made was that the Fed's going to start cutting rates long before inflation gets back down to 2%. And in fact, I think the Fed might start cutting rates even as the CPI is trending back higher. Because remember, the main reason...
He said no cuts this year, I think.
Right,
that's what he said.
Right, but he said the Fed's going to start cutting before inflation gets down to 2%.
Oh.
And the thing that's significant is the main reason we got the drop in headline CPI from 9% to 3% was that we got a near 50% drop in oil prices from the summer of 2022 until about a couple of months ago. But in the last 3 months, oil prices are up 25%. I think we're just starting a new move that's going to take oil prices to new highs, and that's going to put a lot of upward pressure on headline CPI before the end of the year, and that's also going to push a downward pressure on the economy. So I think the Fed is wrong on its recession outlook. We're going to have a recession. In fact, it's going to be a severe one, but inflation is going to get worse, not better.
Do you guys agree with that? Now, I gotta be honest. I see the data and more people are just burning through their savings. Now, at the same time, we have credit card debt at record highs. So what does that tell you? Peter Schiff also said that whatever the Fed is doing with inflation, it's not working. You know what he also said? He said that the Fed should raise rates and that the federal government should cut spending. Well, the first part's pretty easy because the Fed's been doing it for months on end, but that second part, nah, it's kind of like asking the government officials for a straight answer. It's not gonna happen, folks. They ain't gonna cut spending. But hey, anybody here who thinks that the government will cut their spending or, for our sake, man, I cannot wait to see the comments on that question. But again, let's get back to how tough it is here at home. And I think New Jersey would be a very good example. Remember when this happened months ago?
Well, there's help tonight for people in the state facing water shutoffs. Governor Murphy this week signed a bill preventing water and sewer utilities from turning off service to customers with overdue bills before October 1st. 1st. It applies to water companies that didn't participate in New Jersey's low-income water assistance program, which is meant to help customers who got behind on payments during the pandemic. Specifically, those local and public utilities won't be able to enforce liens, charge interest on overdue amounts, or discontinue service.
Fast forward to just recently, and the city has said that water service has just been shut off to 18 properties, which includes a couple of rental units. And just to give you guys an idea, it was reported months ago that households in New Jersey owed about $45 million on overdue water bills, which means that within back then to just recently, the number has ballooned to even more. And if you need more proof that our economy hasn't been the same for years now, the U.S. News and World Report's annual best countries ranking just saw the United States of America go down a spot for the first time in 5 years. Now, to be honest, guys, I'm amazed that our country is even still within the top 5 of everything with everything that's been going on here. Switzerland's up top at 1, but can you believe that Canada's number 2? Seriously?
Rising costs and higher interest rates. It's hard to talk about the economy these days without thinking of one word: inflation.
But as many countries across the globe battle sky-high inflation, here in Switzerland, a small mountainous nation in Western Europe, the rise in prices has been far less dramatic. Have you felt the effects of price rises and inflation over the past year?
Not that much, to be honest.
It's been all right.
Most of the things is okay.
You think Switzerland somehow got it a bit more right than maybe other places?
I think so.
Inflation in Switzerland hit a 29-year high of 3.5% in 2022. While still high by Swiss standards, it is well below the double-digit inflation rates in other advanced economies like the US, UK, and Eurozone.
So, what is it about the Swiss economy that means it's largely avoided rampant inflation? And what can other countries learn from it? There are multiple parts to Switzerland's inflationary story. For starters, prices in the country are already beginning from a high base.
Switzerland is one of the world's wealthiest countries, with a GDP per capita outstripping that of other major economies like the US, Japan, and Germany. It is also home to some of the richest citizens in the world, with an average wealth of nearly $700,000 per adult, and a steep cost of living to match. In 2022, the Swiss cities of Zurich and Geneva held steady among the world's 10 most expensive cities, even as inflation pushed up living costs in other pricey places like Singapore, New York, and Tel Aviv.
So there you have it, guys. Further proof that our life in our country has changed so much within just a short span of time, and things may become even worse. But what do you guys think? Are you happy right now? Or are you thinking of a change of scenery? Maybe leaving the United States? Now, before I go, guys, I just want to thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Thank you for dropping a like for the video. Thank you for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next one.